video, I'm going to cover an interesting case, an interesting conspiracy theory within the finance industry that also involves tech entrepreneurs. We have a case of Mike Lynch and 2 other employees who actually passed away during a yacht accident and also doing a car crash accident. So it's very suspicious while they were dealing with legal issues with major corporations. You can see from these headlines, conspiracy theories about the yacht, all these other suspicious theories and conspiracy theories about these type of coincidences around this very scandalous issue. So let's go through it now. This is all alleged and speculation before we move forward, all based on publicly available information. So this is what happened. We have these 3 individuals on one side and these 3 major companies or government organizations on the other. And on one case, in all of these cases, these particular individuals end up passing away, right? So it's very suspicious after a major business transaction. We have Mike Lynch, who is worth $800 million. He sold a company called Autonomy for about $11 billion to HP. You know HP, the printer company. I'm sure everyone's familiar with HP. They produce laptops and other things too. And then we have Stephen Chamberlain, who was a vice president at this company, Autonomy, working with Mike Lynch to develop this company that they ended up selling for $11 billion to HP. And then we have Jonathan Bloomer, who was a chairman of Morgan Stanley International, like Morgan Stanley's entity in the UK and certain other countries within Europe. And he ended up passing away too. He was actually linked to Autonomy. He was on the board of directors in 2010, and he was chairman of the audit committee around the time that Autonomy was sold to HP, right? This is a very interesting case. Mike Lynch and Jonathan Bloomer, the guy at the top and the guy at the bottom there at Morgan Stanley, they ended up passing away when their yacht mysteriously ended up sinking. And then Stephen Chamberlain, during the court case where he was going to testify, he ended up dying in a suspicious car accident, right? So it's all kind of suspicious, and we're going to go through in a bit of detail here. We had lots of legal action going on at the time, right? HP had purchased Autonomy, this company, from Mike Lynch and Stephen Chamberlain, and what ended up happening is they purchased the company for $11 billion, but then once they reviewed it, they resulted in analyzing it in more detail and realized they bought it for 11 billion, but it was actually worth around 3 billion. So it had a write down of about $8 billion. So imagine you buy something for 11,000, maybe you buy a car for $11,000, and all of a sudden you check all the details after. You check some details before, but details after, and it's not worth 11,000, it's worth 3,000. So that's the type of write down. So HP were of course quite aggravated. The CEO fired some of the employees that were working on this acquisition of this company. The CEOs after them, there was Leo, Meg, and Dion, all these type of CEOs or senior role type of people working at the company. At HP, they were looking at investigating to see if they can pursue this through the Department of Justice, get some kind of compensation for this, what they think was fraudulent transaction where they were led to believe Autonomy had a bunch of functionality that it kind of didn't have when they dug deep into how it works, right? So they were pursuing a lot of legal action against Autonomy, Mike Lynch, and Stephen Chamberlain, right? And the finance executives at HP were looking into the detail, realized all the accounting discrepancies and how this company was worth $8 billion less than they thought it was. Also, you have this other company, which was CISG, which is the super yacht company. So the yacht that ended up sinking, where Mike Lynch passed away, and the other Morgan Stanley employee, they were also suing Mike Lynch because they said, they're giving us bad press for our yachts and making it appear that our yachts are unsafe. So they end up suing this guy and his $800 million estate for a lot of money, saying that he passed away in the yacht, but he's giving us bad press. He's saying our yachts aren't safe, so we need to sue the company. He'll sue this guy's estate. So they're getting sued by them too. And then also the government had been investigating them. The UK and US government, the DOJ in America, and then this fraud office in the UK was investigating these guys for this transaction, and effectively they said that, yeah, this is fraud and we need to pursue further action against these people. So, I mean, this is all alleged and speculation, but it's very suspicious. One guy dies in a car crash. A few days later, the other guy dies in a yacht sinking, a super yacht at that. So, I mean, again, alleged speculation, but I would say it points towards a case that some people who got screwed in this business deal, perhaps a company, perhaps an individual, sought to end these people's lives. So this is the type of contentious situations you can get into when it comes to very senior corporate roles. So going through the timeline, in October 2011, the HP acquires Autonomy for $11 billion. They do some analysis, they write it down by $8.8 billion, so they realize it's like worth a fraction of what they were told it was worth. And then they have all these legal actions that they're pursuing, and around January 2022, they ended up taking them to court. The courts identified this is in case of fraud. There's lots of frauds going on here. And then this is kind of leading to these suspicious conspiracy theories, right? In this case, the conspiracy theory was that Stephen Chamberlain, that guy we saw here, the guy at the bottom here, he was about to testify in the court case, and then he ended up passing away, right, in a car crash, right? If you pass away in a car crash a couple days around the time you're going to testify around against a company in a fraud case with a major corporation that just lost $8 billion, I mean, it's not, you don't have to add it up, right? You don't have to think much about why he passed away in just a random car crash, right? Just around the time he was about to testify. So it's like, is there a coordinated effort to silence key figures? Why was he killed? And I think it's kind of obvious why he was, if he was, of course, all alleged and speculation. Now, moving on, August of 2024, and bear in mind, this has been going on for over a decade, right? All these legal issues, right? Back from 2011 to 2022 to 2024, things are still going on. In August to September 2024, the yacht that they were on, Mike Lynch was on this yacht that he owned, and there was a sudden storm, suspicious storm again, and all of a sudden him and someone else who was the yacht, they end up passing away. The other person was John Bloomer, Morgan Stanley International chairman. He ends up passing away on this yacht too. And then Italian C Group, that company I mentioned earlier. So this is one of the companies alongside the HP and DOJ. They jump into suing these people too, or suing Mike Lynch at least. What ends up happening, they end up suing Mike Lynch, saying $250 million, we want that, you've damaged our reputation, the yachts are safe, you're giving us lots of bad media, this was an international news story, how can a super yacht suddenly sink during a storm? It just was an unbelievable story, people weren't buying the narrative they were being told. Again, so not only did these two individuals pass away, the Morgan Stanley executive, the Mike Lynch, the tech guy who was dealing with legal issues with HP, also several other people had passed away who were on the yacht. And then they say, oh, they all died of drowning. There wasn't drugging or anything like that. It wasn't like they were poisoned. But they're dealing with a lot of difficult situations here, right? And the conspiracy theory too is, how can a super yacht sink so easily? Was the weather really that bad, right? This is a super yacht. You know, it's meant to be the industry leading type of yachts in the whole world. Don't have the cost of it right now, but if they're suing Mike Lynch, if the yacht company is suing Mike Lynch for $250 million, is probably because they produce these high quality yachts that are worth millions and millions or tens of millions of dollars, right? Now they're seeking reputational damage. Is very questionable to what extent a major yacht could simply have structural failure or sink during this type of instance. And there are lots of conspiracy theories about whether the storm even occurred, because there's lots of cases of other yachts sinking around the time, right? And the question is, did Mike Lynch know too much, right? Did he know a lot about this dodgy business deal that he might have been involved in, alleged of course, or did he have information on AI, on other things about the internal government operations of the US, and maybe things that were toward as part of this business deal? Maybe he learned some other things that could be quite questionable. Now in October 2024, the yacht's captain was facing manslaughter charges, which means that he was responsible for the passing away of these employees due to mismanagement of the yacht, and this yacht effectively sinking and these people passing away. And HP pursues $3 billion in damages from Mike Lynch's estate. So Mike Lynch passes away, and HP wants to get their money that they've been trying to pursue all these years. They bought this company, Autonomy, from Mike Lynch for $11 billion. They found out $8 billion of it was not worth anything, so they only had $3 billion of that company that they paid $11 billion for, and now they want to get billions of dollars from Mike Lynch's estate. He's passed away. They're trying to get money from the assets he owns before his family can get it. And this is conspiracy theory 3, right? His death is kind of speculated to be convenient for all his adversaries, that he passes away, simplifies the legal process so HP or other companies can extract money from his estate rather than suing him and going through a long legal battle. They can just more easily sue the estate and take the money. This aligns with theories that certain parties, HP, US government authorities, financial institutions, perhaps benefited from his death. And to what extent was his estate and assets frozen due to legal disputes so that his family couldn't take the money from him passing away and what he owned? The financial motivator seems to be the biggest case here, right? Was it really a storm? Was it sabotage? Were they trying to kill him to take his assets in a very quick way? And this is conspiracy theory 4, right? To what extent was the US intelligence involved, right? He had access most likely to high-level corporate and government data, particularly AI and cybersecurity. Was this more about corporate fraud, or did he know too much? Did he know too much about state-level surveillance, financial corruption? And how is Morgan Stanley linked to the yacht incident, right? Jonathan Bloomer, who we mentioned earlier, that's the guy at the bottom of the screen right now, Jonathan Bloomer, who passed away on the yacht. He was a top Morgan Stanley executive, as I say, the chairman of Morgan Stanley International, very profitable entity for Morgan Stanley. He was also on the yacht. He also passed away. If this was a targeted hit, why would he be involved? Was he collateral damage and it was just a cost of people who were pursuing to end Mike Lynch's life? Did it just impact Jonathan Bloomer too because he was on the yacht? Or did he do something perhaps inappropriate when it comes to finance and banking? Was he tied to Mike Lynch's work in more ways than we can identify? Now, this is a very important case because this is how contentious it can happen. It can occur when it comes to $100 million, billion-dollar deals, all these type of inappropriate or questionable ethical practices when it comes to business deals. And you never know how you could be linked to it or involved in that, right? Many different links between, I'll say alleged and speculation again, between major financial institutions and mafia entities and hitmen and things like that, and people dying under suspicious circumstances, not just the typical, oh, they got poisoned. People always say, you know, Russia or countries like that, they might engage in poisoning people and spies and things like that. All types of different ways that people jumping off buildings from working in the finance industry because they're so stressed about the work. I mean, what's really going on here, right? People self-deleting themselves. There's all these type of stories that come up again and again in the finance industry, in the Hollywood entertainment industry. Just doesn't add up a lot of the time. So again, it's all alleged and speculation. I do have a HP printer, which is completely useless, and I would never want to buy any HP printers again. I might throw this one away. And I know sometimes the intelligence agencies, when they don't like someone, they tend to blow up their pages, right? We saw cases like that in the Middle East, right? So I'm not going to use my HP printer. Hopefully it doesn't blow up randomly on me. It's all alleged and speculation, just reporting on publicly available news articles. So hopefully no one tries to come for me. I love everyone out there, of course, especially the individuals in the story. So I've worked in the finance industry for over 10 years, Goldman's, Morgan Stanley, many other top companies. I offer a career coaching program to really help boost your career, and this will help you avoid these type of contentious self-deletion or mysterious sinking on a yacht type circumstances by navigating your way through the tricky corporate environment, mapping your strategy from your corporate career to financial freedom, outsmarting office politics, surviving and thriving as a man in the corporate environment, preparing for promotions, dealing with layoff scenarios, and developing your prosperity plan for self-sufficiency from the current state of a failing society. Link in description if you want to speak with me directly. I'll be happy to help with you and get you onto my coaching program, and we'll help you over 12 weeks to get you where you want to be in your life. Let me know in the description, what do you think about this story, right? Very suspicious circumstances, 4 different conspiracy theories, all alleged and speculation, but be interesting to let me know what you think. 2 recommended videos on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video.